For decades, the relationship between Eric Clapton and George Harrison has been shrouded in myth, whispered about in rock circles, and dissected by fans. Two of the greatest guitarists of their generation, their bond was forged in music, tested by love, and ultimately strengthened by time. Now, in his most candid interview yet, Eric Clapton breaks his silence on the truth behind their friendship, rivalry, and the emotional journey that defined their lives. This is the untold story, beyond the love triangle, beyond the legendary solos, and beyond the public personas, of how two musical icons shaped each other's destinies. Eric Clapton first met George Harrison in 1964, when the Beatles were already global superstars. Clapton, then with the Yardbirds, recalls the moment vividly. "I was backstage at one of their shows, and George sought me out. He wasn't like the others, less flashy, more introspective. He wanted to talk about guitars, about blues. That's when I knew he was different." While John Lennon and Paul McCartney were the dominant creative forces in the Beatles, Harrison was quietly developing his own identity as a guitarist. Clapton, already gaining recognition for his virtuosic blues playing, became an unlikely mentor. Their friendship deepened through shared influences: Robert Johnson, B.B. King, and later Indian classical music. Harrison, fascinated by Clapton's technique, would often visit him during Cream rehearsals. "George would sit in the corner, watching my fingers, asking questions," Clapton remembers. "He wasn't just a pop star, he was a student, and that humility made me respect him even more." By 1966, Harrison's playing had evolved dramatically, incorporating blues bends and melodic phrasing that echoed Clapton's style. The mutual admiration was undeniable. The turning point came during the fractious White Album session in 1968. Harrison, frustrated by the band's infighting, called Clapton in desperation. "George played me the demo of While My Guitar Gently Weeps, and it was beautiful, but he felt it wasn't getting the attention it deserved. He asked me to come play on it, and I was terrified." Clapton's solo, recorded in a single take, became one of rock's most iconic moments, but behind the scenes, the session was tense. The other Beatles weren't thrilled about an outsider in the studio, but George insisted. He wanted that fire in the track. That's when I realized how much he trusted me. The dynamic between Clapton and Harrison took a dramatic turn when Clapton fell in love with Harrison's wife, Patti Boyd. "It wasn't something I planned. Patti was magnetic, funny, beautiful, wild, but George was my friend. I was torn between loyalty and obsession." The affair played out in slow motion, with Clapton pouring his anguish into music. "Layla" was written as a desperate plea to Boyd, while Harrison responded with "Something," a song Frank Sinatra would later call the greatest love song ever written. Clapton reveals a shocking moment from 1970 when he drunkenly confronted Harrison at a party. "I was a mess. I told George, 'I'm in love with your wife,' and you know what he said? 'You can have her.' Just like that. No anger, just resignation. That hurt more than any fight." Harrison's reaction haunted Clapton for years. "I realized then that I wasn't just betraying him, I was losing myself." Boyd eventually left Harrison for Clapton in 1974, and they married in 1979, but the relationship was shadowed by guilt. "Patti and I loved each other, but the ghost of George was always there. I'd catch her humming a Beatles song, or she'd compare my playing to his. It was complicated." Meanwhile, Harrison maintained an eerie calm. He never held a grudge publicly, but privately, there were moments. Once, he sent me a postcard that just said, "You still owe me a guitar solo." That was George, always cutting through the bullshit. As Clapton spiraled into heroin addiction, Harrison embraced spirituality, producing music that reflected his inner peace. All things must pass. George had found something I couldn't: contentment. Meanwhile, I was destroying myself. He'd call me, concerned, but I pushed him away. One of Clapton's deepest regrets was missing Harrison's 1971 concert for Bangladesh, due to his addictio. George gave me a chance to be part of something meaningful, and I blew it. When I finally got clean, one of the first things I did was apologize to him. By the 1980s, they began rebuilding their friendship through music. Harrison would invite Clapton to his home, Friar Park, for impromptu jam sessions. We'd play old blues songs, laugh about the old days. No words about Pattie, no apologies needed, just music. Their collaboration on Badge for Cream's reunion shows was a highlight. George played rhythm guitar, and it was like no time had passed. When Harrison was diagnosed with cancer, Clapton became a constant presence. I'd bring my guitar to his house, and we'd play ukuleles in the garden. He never complained, never showed fear. That's how I knew how strong he really was. Their final meeting, weeks before Harrison's death, was bittersweet. We didn't talk about the past, we just played. When I left, he hugged me and said, "See you on the other side." That was the last time I saw him. Clapton organized the Concert for George in 2002, a star-studded tribute featuring Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, and Donnie Harrison. Playing While My Guitar Gently Weeps with Donnie was surreal. He had George's hands, his smile. It felt like passing the torch. Today, Clapton keeps Harrison's memory alive through his music and philanthropy. George taught me that talent isn't enough. You have to live with purpose. That's why I started Crossroads, to help others the way he helped me. As for the rivalry, it was never about who was better. It was about two men who loved music, loved the same woman, and somehow found their way back to each other. That's the real story. For decades, the world speculated about the complex relationship between Eric Clapton and George Harrison, two guitar icons whose lives intertwined through music, love, and redemption. Now Clapton's candid revelations have finally put the rumors to rest. Their story wasn't just about rivalry, it was about brotherhood. From their early days jamming on blues riffs to the heart-wrenching love triangle with Patti Boyd, their bond endured betrayal, addiction, and even death. In the end, Harrison's forgiveness and Clapton's remorse transformed their relationship into something deeper, a testament to the power of music and friendship. As Clapton himself admits, "George wasn't just my rival, he was my teacher, my mirror, and in the end, my salvation." Their legacy lives on, not just in the solos they played, but in the lessons they left behind. That even the greatest rivalries can give way to respect, and that true friendship never truly fades away.